stage for this incredible breakthrough. And so this book is about that every moment that ever happened in the history of the world is now culminating in this moment, right now. And that the end of this fourth exile will be different than any other exile. The others ended with through human agency. But we have a prophecy from Obadiah, who was actually an Edomite slave, Edomite convert, who became a prophet. He was a student of Eliyahu Navi. And Obadiah's one chapter in the Tanakh. And as an Edomite, which is Edom, which is Esav, which is Rome, right? He's the one who tells us what the end of Rome is. And that it will not be the same as the end of all the others. And the Midrashim go into this in very great depth, that the fourth exile is different in quality, different in nature, different in degree, in every way. It's the fourth animal in Daniel's vision. It's the fourth animal that's prohibited to us in terms of the unkosher animals. It's different than the first three. The first three are the camel and the hare no, the fourth is the chazir. The fourth is the pig. But anyway, in every way, our tradition speaks about that this fourth exile, it's different, and that the end of the fourth exile is different, and that it leads not to another exile, another empire. It leads to the empire of Israel, as the Maharal wrote a whole book about it, and actually 2 books, Netzach Yisrael and Ner Torah Or. But the end of the fourth exile leads into the Messianic age, into the kingdom of Mashiach, right? And that is like, well, where's it going? I mean, where do we see this? You're not going to get support for this from the outside. You're going to get support from it on the inside. So this is a book that's talking about stuff that at the beginning of the book I say that the Torah is a repository for a different type of thinking. It's a repository for a different type of thinking that we've lost on a conscious level. For prophecy, for what prophecy is, for what a personal relationship that all of us can have with God. That's what the Torah is. And it's not even seen like that by most of the Jewish people, because we even lost it to that extent. Like you'll ask Jews, like, what's this about? What's this prophecy? So, oh yeah, prophecy, it once existed. Do they know that it will exist again? And that it exists on a deeper, hidden level right now. Things don't just disappear. They go into exile, they go underground. The Mashiach is here, he's underground. Prophecy is here, it's underground. The tree of life is here, it's hidden. Nothing went away. God is here. You know, there's a thing about Hashem's name, Yud Kei Vav Kei. And yet, when we see Yud Kei Vav Kei in the Torah or anywhere, we don't say it. What do we say? Adonai. It's like Adonai is the parochet, the curtain, in front of the Aron HaKodesh of Yud Kei Vav Kei. It's in front of the Ark of the Covenant of Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is the essence of existence. But it's covered over by a curtain. And so we see the letters, but we only are consciously relating to the curtain. But it's time now to know that what's behind the curtain. What's inside of each one of us. So the subtitle of this book is on the transition from profane technology. You can look at it on the first page, spiritual technology, on the transition from profane technology to sacred technology in preparation for the advent of the great Shabbat. That there can be a switch here. That everything in the world is going to try and take us away from this essence experience. Just like the Nachash approached Eve and Adam in the Garden of Eden at a specific hour of the 6th day of creation. Just like the Erev Rav approached Klal Yisrael, the people of Israel, at Sinai. It was in this last week's Parsha, just 2 days ago. The Erev Rav, the whole story, the whole mystery of who are these people and why were they allowed to come out with us into the desert, and who were their leaders. The 2 sons of Bilam, called Eunice and Yumbrus. The two sons of Bilam were the magicians in Paro's court, and Moshe allowed them to come out. There's all kinds of stuff about this that I began to see and I discover as I was doing the research for this book over the years. So it's really built on a spiritual way of looking at these texts that we have, these ideas that we have, but it's really, as I say in one point, it's not in order to go back to the Garden of Eden or to Mount Sinai. That's great, and I love it. But it's really only going back in order to go forward, to go see exactly what's happening right now. That's why I'm bringing the information in this book. And to the extent that what I want here is to start to see all of history, the whole panorama of history in front of our eyes. So we see exactly where we're holding. So we see exactly why we were born at this time. So it's really like a lot to expect. But somehow it all came together. And of course, 2 months before the publication, when we decided that this would be the book, I rewrote it. And I had 2 editors rewrite it. And it's still not all that I want, but it's awesome because I couldn't have dreamt that this could have been a reality. That the things that really were bothering me over the years got cleared up. They really did. Something is here. So as you read the book, it's a spiritual experience. It has not only my heart and soul in it, but it has something of like this amazing consciousness that's coming into the world soul. It has that in it. And that's exciting to me because I just get out of the way. I just was the one who typed it over and over and over and over again. But really, it wasn't me. Because, that doesn't mean I'm not responsible for it. But it means that it's I don't know if we use this word in Judaism, but it's a channeling, right? I channeled the book. So, and my main teachers are the great mystics, the great tzaddikim of all generations, the ones who speak to my soul, the ones who allowed me to understand a little bit of who I am and why I am, the ones who changed my life, the ones who I want to meet when they arise in the resurrection, the ones who whisper in my soul and in all of our souls. And it's based on a deep belief, a deep emunah, that we are connected to higher souls. And that we've been put down here without that knowledge, without that awareness. But deep down, if we search for it inside of ourselves, if we look at our lives from this point of view, that we are souls who have been brought down into this world at this special time to do the rectification, the tikkun, for each one of us individually, and also to participate in the collective drama, that this is an incredible way of a paradigm shift into a new way of looking at the world. I want to go into a few specifics here, but I wanted at least to try, and I don't even know if I did it so well, to try to give some of like what's behind this, and that this idea that we are souls, and that Moshe Rabbeinu is a living soul, and that Moshe Rabbeinu can come into us, that Rachel Imenu can come into us, that Sarah Imenu can come into us, because we are sparks of those souls. That's like an incredible idea, and I want you to really be open to it now. It's a process that gives us a chance to grow into it. It's really a very Jewish thing, and yet the Jewish people have become closed to it, and they're afraid of it. They're afraid of knowing that we are connected to heaven, and it's not negating the physical in order to see the spiritual. It's to know that when we see something, whether it's a tree or a landscape or a mountain or the stars at night, or anything that we perceive that's wondrous that God made, that what's wondrous about it is the spiritual shines through it. The physical is really a covering, but there's sometimes when the physical becomes a medium through which it allows more of the light to shine through. And that's what we love about it. We love that aspect of it that's shining through. It's very deceptive though. That's nice. It's a good tune. It's a good tune. Okay, so one of the big things in this book is, who is this character that Hashem created, who tries to pull this deception off on us to stop us from knowing that we are godly and that we are divine, and that Eden is also a present reality, not just a past reality. Who is this creature? He has many names. In the Garden of Eden, he's called the Nachash. And the word Nachash is interesting. You can break it up in a few different ways. He's Nun Chash, or Chush. He's the master of all the senses. He fixes our sense ratios. He makes us think that this is the only way to perceive the world. Mashiach is the same gematria as Nachash. Nachash takes the power of Mashiach and turns it upside down and makes us think that this is what the world is. It's a fallen world, and Nachash has the power over how we perceive. Even in science and psychology, they talk about the reptilian brain. How suggestive. The reptilian brain. Do I have a reptilian brain? Because they have a spinal column that ends up in this incredible thing called the cerebral cortex. That's my reptile. They think they've come on something, but I think I see it differently, right? I think the East has it a little bit clearer in terms of there's a higher consciousness here that can come up. But whatever the case. So that's one name, Nachash. Nachash also comes out through the verb linachesh, to guess, to divine, to intuit. It has a negative connotation by us, whereas intuition has a positive connotation, but it's along those lines. Nichush. It comes in when we see that Bilam was, the Torah says that he didn't go for nechashim as he has normally done. He tried something else. He saw that wasn't working. What's nechashim? Nechashim is the word that the Torah uses for occult practices, right? For doing things through black magic. Black magic, there's a whole chapter on black magic. Why? Because black magic is really, in its modern form, is technology and science. I don't say there's anything wrong intrinsically with technology and science. It's just the mindset. There's a whole chapter on the mindset of the material scientist. The Asavian mind. How he wants to see the world and where he wants to see the world to go. And I compare that, I contrast that with the Edenic vision, with the spiritual vision of the Torah. So I'm actually coming into a thing here where we have to confront a worldview and say, you cannot determine how the world is anymore. The Jewish soul is coming up to its greatness. The Shekhinah is coming down into Israel now, in our children, in our soldiers, in our true leaders, right? In our students, in ourselves. The true messianic spirit is coming into us. And that's what's going to not only give us the ability, but obligate us to differentiate, to say, wait a second, is that how it really is? Right? Okay, we live in an Asavian civilization, but the Torah is now going to come into its full power. The Gra talked about this, the Baal Shem Tov talked about this, the Ari was all about this. Something is going to happen as we get to a certain pivotal points on the cosmic clock where time is going to start moving faster, events are going to happen more in an accelerated way, things are going to become much, much more overwhelming in terms of technology, right? And people are going to be taken by a whole mindset. And the Jew, it's not enough to daven in shul. It's not enough to learn the Torah in a normal way anymore. It has to be that I'm connecting to the soul of the people who wrote these books.